I've got Mr. Williams. You have.
Dr. Dixon.
I have Mr. Plummer.
And you guys have got Mr. Bridges. I only know one of them, and that's your teacher. The
Who's
art,
Mr.
art
Bridges?
teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, like, Mr. Bridges is
So,
You got Mr. Bitches over here, bro.
this guy.
Let me see.
oh, French, I think.
He looks,
I recognise him, but I'm
don't know.
not sure.
he was at Tiffin for 1 year when this came out. So
It's really weird that I got Mr. Plummer because I was talking to Sam Bleep's brother, Toby Bleep, on Friday, and we were talking all about Mr. Plummer, and I was telling him about when we were in year 9 or 10, 14, 15, and we went to New York on an art trip with another school, with his
Really?
wife's school. So it was a girls' school. So it was 2 schools, and he just let us do what we want. Like we'd get back after a day of like going to the sickest galleries and just like drawing in Central Park, and then he'd just say goodbye to us at the door. He'd be like, right, night guys, and then we'd find ourselves at like 4 a.m. just in Times Square, just with like bare people.
That's
That's so sick,
that is
bro.
Yeah, it was
man.
nuts. It was the
How
best
old were you?
trip. 14, 15.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And those teachers who don't care, and they're the ones that you end up respecting the most.
Yeah, yeah,
Because they
yeah.
treat you with respect. It's the ones who like really try to over egg how much respect they want from you, and you're like, bro, I'm 13. Of course I don't give a shit about this. You're really trying to put your foot down. None of us care.
That's
and it's
it.
like Monsieur Cotin. He was the gangster. He's like the best teacher I've had, and it's just because he didn't care.
Yeah, he
He
was
was
so
cool.
best. Also, he was bare cool. He produces music.
Really?
Yeah, like at one stage he burned me a CD of his beats and was like, do some shit over this for me. And I was like fucking, 16, 17. He was like, yeah, like record something for me over this. And sadly I never did, but like I probably should have.
Yeah.
Imagine if he just has like unreleased grade.
I remember you sent him. I don't know why this has stuck out in my mind, but every time someone mentions Mr. Cortana, I remember sending him Pad 14.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounded like Cold before Cold.
Really?
Yeah.
That's mad.
Theraflu.
Yeah, banger. Absolute banger.
Speaking of, hypothetically, you can no longer pursue music anymore in any fashion, but you still have to work in something creative. What creative thing are you pursuing
And I can't work in music.
at all?
So no, I can't be an A&R.
No.
Okay.
That's a tough one.
There you go.
Can I still would like to do like a talk show. Like I think that'd be quite jokes. Like a pod or something involving speaking.
Like a host?
Yeah,
of
like a hosting or just having a chat. Maybe just podcasting or a little lifestyle vibe show. I'm not very artistic. I can't paint. I can't do anything else. What else is creative? Those are the
It has to be creative.
Yeah, it has to be a creative endeavor.
what outside of art
It would be
and
art for me.
music. What other creative fields are there?
Dance,
Dance,
Oh,
yeah,
very good.
dance. Dance is-
poetry,
Theatre,
English,
acting.
acting, films, writing.
Yeah, you really fucked that.
There's a,
There's loads.
there are
millions,
okay.
yeah.
That's good. That's good because I was
Yeah.
pranked.
Yeah. Like,
I think
it
I'd
will-
get into. Does spoken word poetry count, or is that too like you're
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, that
you-
counts.
No, that's
Come
still-
on,
it's not
you're a
music.
rapper
That's
and
not
you're going
music.
into spoken word
That's not
poetry.
It's not
music.
music. It's not music. Poetry, spoken word is super different. to
Dankest
music.
on campus.
I don't
Exactly.
hang with,
With
no
no
average.
average.
So let me tell you a story. Yeah, we at one stage, like when we were at uni, we had this whole rap sock thing going, and because of that, we ended up getting invited to a few things. And one of our boys, Mandeep, he was quite like closely linked with the science gallery on campus, and they were doing some poetry slam thing. And he was like, "Listen, bruv, come down. Like it'll be jokes. Just do whatever." And he's gonna do something as well. And his whole thing is freestyle rap. Like he's really, really good at actual, genuine, off the
Off the
dome
cuff, yeah,
kind
yeah,
of stuff. So anyway, we all put our names down to do this poetry thing, and they just drew names out of the hat in terms of the order that you were gonna do it. And me and him are not poets, yeah, we're both rappers. He was the first, and I was
Oh
the
my
last.
God.
So it was like we bookended this like really, really good technical poetry. And at this point, I was rapping about like some greasy shit. Man.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it
yeah.
it wasn't like that deep. But then they ranked us, and I came second, and he came third. And I was,
Really?
Yeah, I was like, no
No
fucking
way.
way, bro. That's
Oh,
sick.
wow.
That's sick.
And I just changed up my delivery. I think I did Dark Water.
Nice.
because that one lyrically is
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit
yeah.
like it's a bit deeper. It's talking about insecurity and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I can maybe make this work if I just hit it with the spoken word poetry.
That's such a
vibe.
good shout.
And what I love about spoken word is how the audience do the
Yeah,
clicks.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, come on, I'm cooking right now.
You're like, how many clicks are you gonna get tonight? It's like, I don't know, probably a handful. I'm not really doing it for the clicks.
A
I'm doing
handful
it-
of clicks.
I'm a handful of clicks. I'm just doing it to get it off my chest.
Interesting.
It just always has felt like quite pretentious spoken word. I don't know why. I've just gotten that vibe. Maybe it's how it's conveyed in like media and like films and stuff. I'm just like, oh, okay, these people take themselves so serious.
Yes, I think that there's levels to it, and it depends on your understanding, and that I think you can kind of go through these levels and feel totally differently about it. Like, I think that to a layman, seeing someone perform them, it's like, oh, what is it? What is this? This is so pretentious. But if you have a certain understanding of poetry, or even what they're trying to say, or metaphors, or any of the devices used, then it makes more sense to you. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
I think that that's probably potentially why. And I imagine that the more and more you go to these things, you would see patterns and see, you would then be able to, because I'm sure there would be people who are objectively like not very good. And that's where, once you have a certain understanding, those people will seem pretentious to you.
Yeah, okay.
Rather than
The whole
all
thing,
of them.
Yeah, yeah.
And then that's what I mean about the levels changing.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just think possibly it's because I have never been much of a writer, especially not in terms of like, I think poetry and writing bars for songs, like when you guys do songwriting, it is very close to poetry. They're like on the Venn diagram, there's a massive overlap, but I've never been into that. The closest I've come is like blog writing and like articles, but obviously that's very different. It's still conveying a message. You have a theme of what you're trying to get across, but it's not rhyming. It's not like metaphors and analogies and like super cerebral. It's much more matter of fact, like technical, getting the information across.
Yeah.
So that's where I find like lack of overlap there, basically.
It's poetry and prose, like that's why they
Oh,
why
yeah.
they separated them. And weirdly enough, like thinking back to school when we had those public speaking competitions for like house competitions, I never once entered myself into poetry or prose, which is bare dumb.
Yeah.
Like I had all these bars. On the point about it being pretentious, I think a lot of people, if you're not a fan of the medium doesn't make sense to you. Like there's loads of people who just don't like rap music and they're like, this is corny. Like all these guys say the same stuff. It's all like drugs and guns and girls vibe.
Completely.
And that's just because the perception of it is that way. But if you live in that space, you see that actually there's so much going on.
It's to Mayfly's point, it's the levels.
Yeah.
You would hear the Lil Baby and Gunna and go like, what is this? Or like Migos and be like, what is this mumble rap? I don't really care. They're all saying the same thing. But then you venture into like Madlib, MF Doom, Freddie Gibbs, like more people who are like bar off more, and you're like, oh, they're actually talking about something real lived experiences.
Yeah.
It's not just about like drug running and guns. They're actually going through trauma.
That's it. You probably generalize based off the popular ones, right?
Yeah. which is-
Before you actually have an understanding. And I think it's kind of an acquired taste, all of these things, right? I think sometimes you have to learn the rules of stuff. I think art, as a good example, if you know the history of art, it makes so much more sense, especially modern art. Like a lot of modern art is about the concept and understanding the context and the time of when it was produced. Essentially, it's about understanding what has come before to get to this point. Why is a urinal with a signature on it one of the most expensive art pieces or most popular art pieces? It's because it broke all the rules because of all the stuff which came before it. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense. I never have. It's gonna sound really dumb, but I don't give a shit. I've never really considered the context that the art was created in. I always used to be that guy who was like, banana taped to a wall. What is that? I don't give a shit. That's so dumb. I could have made that. Or like Rothko, where it's like just blank colors with like some texturing, and I'm like,
Okay, so an example I'll give is like,
but now I do appreciate it, by the way.
imagine now, I'll give you a little like thought experiment, like with AI, for example. Now, I think that a big part of why people don't like it, and someone said this on a podcast the other day, they don't like AI because if we're using music as an example, you completely eliminate the the concept of the relationship between the art and the artist, and the context of the listener. It's all that does. It just cuts out this whole part of like why it was even made, if it holds intention, if it holds. So this similar to one of those pieces of art. Don't look at the actual just the art of it. It's more like what is this saying about the person? You know, you could have the same thing created by AI, but I agree that a toilet with a signature on it created by AI would be nothing. It would be terrible. But it's all about the relationship between the artist, the art, and the audience.
How does that lend itself to the conversation of separating the art from the artist?
On a musical sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
because this
example.
is the thing. Because for me, like
That's such an interesting point.
the main I think a really easy example of this is obviously all the Kanye stuff, right?
Yeah.
Recently, where he went essentially kind of lost it and made a lot of music that
Kanye's the best example.
a lot of people were just like, yeah, fuck all of this. And then my thing is, yes, I could separate the art from the artist in the sense that I will still listen to his music despite his outbursts and his political views, and I don't think that represents me as a listener as like, oh, you support this political opinion or you support this agenda that this guy's pushing.
Yes.
No, I just like this song.
And it would be different if his music was all political and that was the relationship between the art and the artist. Whereas the music you've liked has not been about, you haven't liked it because of his radical political views.
Yeah.
Very true. Whereas, like, for example, you take an artist like Loki, whose whole thing is, I'm an activist, I support this thing.
Exactly.
My music is talking in this way.
Exactly.
So you then actually, the art and the artist are tied together because...
So exactly, it's understanding the relationship.
Yeah.
As much as the separate parts of it, it's the relationship between not only those two, but how it affects you as well.
Yeah, okay. So the intention, it's almost like in isolation, the relationship between the artist and the art that they created in this moment. So
Yes.
like how they were
Yes.
and what they poured behind this art, like this song, as opposed to their overall view of life and whatever opinions they might have and the art.
Yes,
Like, and the single.
And because people change as well,
Yeah.
that should be considered a snapshot in time. It's like an indication of where you were. The same way, if we're using Kanye as an example, he went through all the different eras, and it's very clear to see who he is in each of those eras.
Yeah.
Same thing. You know, he's shedding his old skin. It doesn't mean that... This is why I fucking hate when people get made to apologize for things that they've already apologized for 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like when Kevin Hart was supposed to host the Oscars, and then his old homophobic tweets came out, and he goes, listen, I've apologized for that 20 years ago. Why are we bringing it up again? I can't just keep apologizing for this. Like, I made a mistake. That was me in the past. I can't do shit about that now.
Yeah, and all that only happens with the negative. It only happens with apologies or mistakes that you've made. You never see somebody getting repraised for something that they did 20 years ago. It's like
Someone who's lost their mind, perhaps.
exactly.
And it's like, yeah.
It's like, oh, this person came out. It's like the inverse actually happens. Somebody makes really great music. Again, it just comes back to to Kanye.
Perfect
Somebody makes
example.
really good music. They then lose their mind, and then instead of going, forget about the mistakes they've done now, let's praise the previous art. It actually is the complete opposite. It's
Yeah.
like, let's discredit the art because of the mistake they've made now. But when they've made a mistake in the past, it's discredit the art now because of the mistake they made in the past.
Yes.
So you can basically never
It's
escape it.
lose-lose. It's lose-lose.
It's interesting because up until maybe like literally 5 minutes ago, I was a I was a proponent of, yeah, the art and the artist separate, and there's no link, and context is not really that relevant. But then I was thinking a bit more about Kanye and 808s and Heartbreak in particular as an album and a snapshot in time, where it's like, okay, he was meant to release a different album. He went through this period where he lost his like mom at around the similar time, and then he had the thing with one of his exes, and he decided, I'm going to make this album, shifted the trajectory of music. And then looking back on it now, it's like, it makes sense at the time why that even came out. And without the context of his life, we wouldn't have the album.
Yes.
Like, it
Yeah.
literally informed the art that was being created.
Yes.
So yeah, you kind of can't separate them
Well,
in that way, but in both the positive and the negative way.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And that, again, that also speaks to him being a true artist and authentic as well. Just because there was a plan in place, it doesn't, it goes to a wider thing of how I believe everyone should live their life through intuition and gut feeling. We should live like animals as sinew, basically, you know, just like gut, like
Just got vibes,
responses.
basically.
Yeah, exactly.
And this then ties into, like, for example, Phantom, and when we perform a new song on a live, or you know, Mayfly's got a new beat, you lay bars on top of it, we then perform that, and then people in the chat are saying, like, what's the story behind this? And it's because we have this almost like innate desire to make connections between what we're hearing and the intention behind them, and then how we can relate not only to the product itself, which is in this case the song, but the emotion behind it and the intentionality behind it.
Yes.
So when somebody asks, like, how did you write this? What inspired the beat? What inspired these lyrics? And then you actually go into the explanation of it. It does become a, like, oh, actually, I am tying the art to the artist now, and we can't separate this, because then the art inherently loses its value, or it's not loses its value, but it doesn't carry the same weight. It's now like, oh, okay, it's again the urinal with the signature on it. Doesn't mean much. But when you hear the story behind it, you're like, oh, I understand.
Yeah.
And
It's not that it loses its value, but the inverse
Value,
is
but-
true. It's
yeah.
like it gains value with context.
Exactly.
And I think in our particular case, and probably also for fans of music in general, like me as a big Kanye fan, not only was I listening to his music, but I was watching all the interviews. I was like keeping a close eye on his life and, you know, the stuff that was going on around it. So that informed how I felt about the songs that were coming out at the time. Like the story of Dark Fantasy or the story of Cruel Summer made me more excited about listening to it and
Yes.
knowing, like, oh, you know, the studio session was like this,
Yes.
and actually Pusha T was meant to do this line, but
Yeah.
it didn't happen. And it's kind of like with our fans,
Yeah,
like
this
we've
was
got
supposed to be called Theraflu, but they couldn't get the.
yeah, you couldn't get it clear.
Oh, yeah.
Like we've got people who listen to our song because it's been playlisted and they don't know who we are, and they listen to the song and they like it just for the song. And then we've got the regulars who come on the lives, they know our personality a lot more, they're in the Discord and they're asking questions, and they probably are more attached to the music because they know us,
Of course.
and
Yeah.
it kind of, I would hope so, it like increases their enjoyment of what they're listening to.
Of course.
But even as somebody who's in the, like, thing, me and Mayfly were talking about this yesterday. Like, you sent the best in season bars, and I was reading it, and I was connecting to the music on another level, because I'd never, like, actually sat down and, like,
Me too.
learnt.
When I was reading the bars, I was like,
Oh,
I was like,
that's
oh,
what that says.
That's what he means. Like, what is it? All fruit with the two.
We're with a true.
all fruit with
a
the
true.
You if you're with the two. I was like,
unreal.
yeah, I genuinely, when we were performing it on the live,
I just go
would
all for with the two.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
exactly.
And
the
I
same.
was like, I need these lyrics because I'm actually recording my vocals.
Yeah, yeah,
I
so-
can't just go beat that.
I was reading it and I was like, oh my god, you're actually barring up,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you're actually, and that made me appreciate it even more.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
gassed.
But it's not to say, like, in
yeah.
order to truly appreciate a song, you have to sit down and, like, dissect the lyrics. But tying this to, like, I've been reading a lot of fiction, I actually get a lot more value out of the book when I treat it, not like it's work, but I will have a pen out sometimes and I'll, like, literally, like, annotate and underline and, like,
That's cool. I like that.
I'll, like, actually, instead of it becomes a more active thing, and that's how you can appreciate it more, instead of just passively listening to it in the background.
Yeah, 100%. I just thought as well, I just think tying back to what we were saying, previously about there being levels and the different thing with music, I think sometimes it's interesting that Grade, I think, is almost too smart and your lyrics are too smart, like good sometimes. And sometimes in the past we've had these conversations where you've been like, I just think I need to simplify this sometimes, but that's what I mean about there being levels. It's a lot of it is almost too cerebral for the average listener, that they don't even want to be involved. But if they were to try and get involved, they would dig a level deeper and be like, oh, you're clicking.
Yeah, I'm clicking,
Nice.
because we were talking about this as well. Like, who are we making music for? What is, like, why do we make the music? And obviously there's the surface level answers of, we like music, music is fun, I like producing, I like writing.
I made the beat.
I made the beat, it sound good.
Yeah.
But then there's like, actually, we want to connect with other people who view music in the same cerebral way, in the same, they appreciate it to the same degree as we appreciate making it. And that's actually where we find our audience, are people who are like, oh shit, I actually did sit down with the bars, and when you said this, and that's what we see in our lives, like people when they're like writing the bars out and they're like, oh my god, that one line specifically.
Grim
and then
Reaper.
you see, yeah. And then you see like, I don't know, these more viral songs on like TikTok, and no one in the comments is engaging with the actual content.
Yeah, it's just like,
It's just
fire.
like a gif of
Yeah.
somebody going like, yeah. And don't get me wrong, it's pretty cool if somebody was to comment like, yeah, this is a fucking heater. But then we have people that actually want to like connect with it on a deeper level, which is fucking cool.
I think that it's kind of like, you could probably apply the Pareto principle to this, where 80% of people who listen to this just listen to it, and then 20% like really fuck with it and like listen to the snares, and they're like, oh, you know, the way that hat opens and closes at this point, or like, I really love the automation here, or the bar, this particular line really stuck out to me. Those that 20% is not the majority, but they probably enjoy it. Like,
They enjoy it.
their
as-
enjoyment is like 80% of it compared to the guys who are in the majority, who just, you know,
Yeah.
they'll
It's
hear the
background.
song and it'll be whatever.
Yeah.
But that, I could apply that same thing to basically any other form of art. And one other form of art we didn't mention was like cooking, like cuisine. And bro, sometimes you go to these like Michelin star restaurants and you're like,
Point.
this tastes good. Like, I like how this tastes. But then you'll have somebody who really fucks with the food, and they're like, the way that they've set this flavor with this texture and
Yes.
how this has like made me feel.
Dunning-Kruger again, isn't it?
Yeah, it literally is.
It is. It's Ahmed and Yus. Like, when they go out to dinner and they're like trying a new spot for food, they're like, oh my god, the way that they cook at this place and
Yeah.
the way that they do.
Ahmed's like, I've researched it, by the way. You know, they're going to
Exactly.
sous
There
vide
you
this
go.
this meat
It's
in
exactly what I
advance.
was talking about art history.
Yeah.
Exactly the same
Once
thing.
you understand the levels behind it.
Exactly,
And the
it gives you the
context
context,
and
you
then
know?
you can appreciate
it's
it
like
more.
ignorance is bliss. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like as soon as you, or anything, you see what the world truly is. It's like, I wish I didn't know that, you know?
Yeah, now I
They-
know that
They
I
say
have
that
to
people with low
apply-
IQ are the happiest.
Yeah, it's because they don't have to grapple with the world in the same way. They don't
Yeah.
have to face But at the same time, you could argue that they don't see the highs for the heights that they can.
Yeah,
So
but
that's the sacrifice you're
only
making.
from our context,
Yeah.
though. Ignorance is bliss. If it's your reality, it's your reality. Everything's contextual. If you don't know any better, what is? Then it only goes to an ego thing about your perception of like, I'm better than this person. But
I
if
enjoy
it's true,
this thing more than you
exactly,
enjoy it, which
But
is
if
a crazy thing
if
to
it's
say.
truly just about enjoying life, then they have it better than we have it.
Yeah, but it's funny that you say that, because given the opportunity, if someone said to you, Mayfly, I'll make you 70 IQ, you'll be the happiest you've ever been, would you take that deal?
No, because I have the context.
Right,
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
becoming a slightly more intelligent person is like basically like a trap. It's like, cool, now you know shit.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the midwit meme. We spoke
Yeah,
about this time ago.
you can't undo it. It's like the illusion has been shattered.
Yeah.
You
Pandora's
can't go
box.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts.
Pandora's box. You've
Facts,
unlocked.
facts.
You've opened it. You've started to learn,
Yeah.
and now you're in this basically game of constantly chasing more information about the thing, because subconsciously, if you know more, then you can maximize
Yeah.
the level to which you can take joy from it.
Yeah.
But then it actually inverses, and it all ties back to ego.
Yes.
And you can enjoy
There you
it
go.
regardless of how much knowledge you have. If you just strip back your ego, and
Because
say, I'm
everything's
gonna enjoy-
relative.
I'm going to enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah. Going back to what I was saying about art history, which is an interesting point, which I thought of just now. There isn't really another, or maybe there is. I'll open the floor to you. But there is. I don't think there's really another example of something where to get better at the thing, you learn about the past of it. You learn about the history of it. You don't go to for example, with me for music, to become a better producer, I would go and do a production course rather than learn about the history of how all the music was made.
Yeah.
Whereas art is very different in that way.
I think that's a very, very poignant example, and it's because inherently with production, things have evolved so much in terms of the way that production is done that almost learning about how it used to be done and the history of it provides no further value other than having the information.
Yeah.
Whereas art, it's
it's still oil on canvas.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It's
purely,
still kind of like
whatever the actual like manifestation of it. It's still like abstract. Like somebody could come in with something that they did 1,000 years ago, and it can still hold weight today. And the context of it now changes it. One example that popped into my mind is like stand-up comedy. You can still. It's less about the learning the history. It's less about learning how people did it before, but like watching old stand-up sets and seeing the way that a comic would go on stage and command the presence of the audience, and even the topics that change over time because of the context of society. But you can still like, the way that this guy did his like setup punchline and brought it back. I think it's quite a rogue example, but I can see similarities
I know what you
there.
mean. And talking of rogue, Joe Rogan.
He's here all week, guys.
Have you seen that? I was looking for the perfect segue. Have you seen? There's nothing else like stand-up comedy, I think, where it becomes such a meta conversation between comedians. And like, there's Jeff Garlin who plays Jeff in Curb Your Enthusiasm. And he's on Joe Rogan, and he's talking about he's saying that to do, if you're running about on stage and doing loads of stuff and stool fucking and doing all these things, that's just not funny. You're not a comedian. And it cuts to Joe Rogan's stand-up routine where he, over the top, like B-roll of him just doing exactly all the things he's saying. And Joe Rogan's kind of there like, yeah, but what if the joke requires you to do that? And he's like, no, you're just not funny. And
Exactly.
the top comment was, this is the moment Joe realised all his friends don't watch his comedy.
Yeah, it's so peak. But it's like, who is to say what is funny and what isn't? And the reason that stand-up comedy jumped into my mind was I went to see my boy, shout out Shiv, do a stand-up set. It's the first time I've seen him do it. And that was one of the first times I've ever seen somebody do something and gone like, I genuinely don't think I could do that. Like, I don't think I could get on stage and pursue that. And I would say it's a creative endeavor. And to tie it back to the very first question, which was like, what artistic thing would you pursue if you weren't pursuing music? I think it might be stand-up. Because like, I saw him do it and I was like, it seems fun. It just seems so nerve-wracking to get on stage. And the amount of times he's told me stories where he's like, yeah, so I was on stage for 5 minutes. He did one of those gong shows where there's like, they literally gong you off and like heckle you, and the crowd are encouraged to like shit on you while you're on the stage. And he's like, I got gonged. It's like you do a 5 minute set.
Baptism of fire, bruv.
He managed to stay up there for like 4 minutes before he got gonged off, and he was like, that was the most like stressful 4 minutes of my life, because you're constantly just like on edge waiting, but you're also trying to perform and make people laugh. And he's like, you get a few laughs from people, then suddenly the crowd starts coming on your side, and then you say one bad joke and you just get gonged, and it's like, oh my god, that level of, at least when you're doing you're performing music, people generally like music. They're going to be like bobbing their head, unless it's like
well, no one can gong us off.
Exactly.
Like,
On your
we're
show.
not doing best in season, and we hear the gong and like, all right, guys, night.
Thank you for that.
See you guys on Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the thing.
Maybe we should delete best in season.
Yeah, that's what happens is like, you try a bit on stage and you literally have to fail openly in public and try something new to see whether or not
do you
it's
know
validated.
what? That's just accelerated learning, to be honest. It's like amazing that you can put yourself in that position, and people don't do it because of fear of being upset, but that is just saving yourself so much time, essentially, isn't it? It's a baptism of fire, as I said. Like,
It is weird with comedy though, because it requires the audience to create the art, and that's like unlike any other medium. Like, for example, let's take a painting. You paint that shit, you put it in a gallery, people come and look at it, but it was painted before anyone saw it. Same with music. Like, we record a song, perhaps on our live we'll try something and get some feedback, but a lot of people don't do that. Comedy, you can't write your set without having
The
like
feedback.
tightened it up by performing it multiple times and
That's
getting
true.
that crowd interaction.
That's true. Even like I used to go to Leicester Square Theatre all the time. Shout out Leicester Square Theatre, because I've seen some nut shows there in like the middle of. I've seen Ricky Gervais there in a small room.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, it's
That's
really
sick.
amazing. But seeing him live, he's done tours around the world. He's like as big a name as you can get, and his set was pretty patchy, and he'd been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
And to your point, it is unlike anything else. You might think something's funny, but with comedy, it has to appeal to the whole audience, or as close to the whole audience as possible.
And also contextually, it might change. Like, what is funny in London might not be funny in Texas, might not
Oh,
be funny
yeah.
over there. And then on top of that as
Great
well,
point.
it's like once you've heard the joke once, the next time it's not as funny.
Yeah.
But with every other medium, especially music, like we make a song,
You
people
come back
like
to
it, that song will stand the test of time forever. Like
Hopefully.
we're hearing songs, like we're talking about Kanye, cool, first album came out 2004. We're talking about songs like artists from the 80s, from the 60s, from classical Baroque era, like 1600s. We're still listening to the exact same thing, but like a comedy set, it's like you hear it 2-3 times. Okay, cool. I know what the joke is.
I know the
like the
punchline that's
punchline's
coming.
coming, and it's not as funny.
And it's because of the suspense around it. It's like I wonder what they're gonna say. The other thing is, it also feels like comedy is something that has to be experienced or should be experienced in like either live or in an audience with others there. It's very rare. There's been some instances, obviously, but it's rare that I've seen like a Netflix special and I've genuinely, truly like laughed out loud. It's more just been like that's funny, because like you're not in the right headspace. You're not like with the audience. You don't feel the energy of the other people that are also cracking up. But when I went and saw it live, I was like, oh, this is fun. Like these people, you just get into like a kind of
Yeah,
goofy
yeah.
mood, and
Yeah.
that's like, it's hard to convey that across a screen.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
like-
it's contagious, isn't it?
It's that collective consciousness. Like
Yeah.
people,
Absolutely.
If you go to a show and people are in the like comedy show and people are in the right frame of mind, like people are here to laugh and
Exactly.
to have a good time, so they're way more receptive of that, and that energy is like, if you come in and you're in a shit mood, like don't be here. Do you know what I mean? Like don't
Why?
like
yeah, why
sit
have you
here
come
and I refuse to laugh at these jokes. No, like the whole point is like we're here to have a good time, and it's kind of like that. I think with music as well, when you go to see an artist, like we're gonna go see this guy, we're all gassed to see this guy,
So-
even though we've heard these songs 1,000 times before.
Yes.
Seeing it live is like totally different, and I
Yeah,
feel
it's
bad
not
for
like
the
you get
openers.
there and like, oh, I heard this one.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
he's playing Runaway.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
man, I
God,
thought we were
it's
gonna do
just
some
so-
unreleased stuff
Yeah,
that I can't
exactly.
really get into.
It's actually the opposite.
It's
People
they-
don't like hearing unreleased
Because
stuff.
then they don't know what to expect. They can't like get into
you want
it.
to sing along to your favorite song.
Whereas
or,
yeah, with comedy, it's literally the exact opposite. You want to hear new material. It's like a surprise, like, oh, I'm bringing out Dave Chappelle, who's gonna do an unreleased set, and everybody's like, holy shit, we're about to see something new, and you're in this giddy like, what's he gonna do? This is gonna be fun.
It's interesting because I think I'm on my own. Definitely not on my own, but in the minority in finding that there are certain TV shows which I look at like songs, where I can just put them on and watch them over and over, and it's like, this is my favorite song. I'm gonna listen to the song over and over. You don't hear a song and go, fuck, I've heard that one now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, like, where's the cutoff point? Like, what in your mind says, no, I've already seen this one, versus,
Also, it's actually super true. When you hear a song that you really like, you have the opposite of that. You're like, I want to hear that again.
exactly.
As opposed to going like,
Like I'm at the gym and I've got this one song on loop for the whole hour that I'm there because I'm like,
Exactly.
I fucking want to hear this song the whole
Exactly.
time.
whereas you would never do that with like basically any other
Totally.
medium. You'd just be like, you wouldn't be like, oh, I want to see that. I want to look at that painting again. Or maybe you would.
Is that to do with
art.
frequencies, do you think? Is that to do with the fact that a song physically makes you feel something? And,
Yeah, and it transports you to
instead of like a TV show which might make you think something.
Yeah, maybe. And also, like, with comedy, for example, it's a fleeting emotion that it's hard to recapture. Like, finding something funny is because of, like, the surprise of it.
You had to be there.
It's like the surprise. Like, oh, exactly, yeah, you had to be there. But, like, with, like, feeling sad from a song, you're like, oh, I want to feel sad. I'm going to play this
Yeah.
song. I want to, like, kind of feel that emotion again. Or, like, oh, this song makes me feel, like, on top of the world.
Audio drugs.
Yeah, whereas with, like, a comedy set or, like, a joke, it's like, oh, this is a funny joke. And if I tell it to you once, you'll be like, yeah, that's really good. And if I tell it to you again, you'll be like, what the fuck is going on, bro? Like,
Can we stop inviting Laith
Yeah,
out, bro?
it's
He
like,
just
bro,
keeps telling his joke again.
Have you heard Laith's joke?
Have you met Laith and his joke?
Have you heard about the one about the turtle book from the library?
That was so funny.
Mayfly, you're talking about TV shows, and I think maybe I'm not like a TV show person, so I can't really connect with it. But film is like that too.
Yes.
So like you'll watch a film, especially if it is like a bit of a headfucky one,
Exactly.
where the more you watch it, the more it gives back to you. You start seeing things, or even though you know the plot, like once you know the plot of the film, like let's say for example any Christopher Nolan one that's like a bit like a Interstellar or a Tenet. You know,
I've seen Tenet like 4 times.
but that's
5
the thing.
times.
You
Fucking
know,
love that
you
film.
know what's gonna happen. But by watching it again, you're like, oh, I clocked this now.
Yes,
Actually,
yeah,
how
yeah.
that ties into this part, and you see the story in a bit more of a way. And perhaps it's similar with the TV show where you're like, I know what's gonna happen, but
It's like,
it's informing.
I just
me in a
never
different
knew
way.
Jeremy felt that way about Mark.
But it's the same thing with like books. Like people reread books and like this is my favorite book, and I go back to it over and over again.
Yeah.
When I read it, when I first read it, I was 18, and the context of my life applied to it differently. I took different lessons from it. Now I'm rereading it at 26. I'm taking different lessons. I reread it at 35. I take different lessons from it.
What's that quote about the man in the river?
No man steps in the same river twice, for he is never the same man, and it's not the same river.
Yeah.
Something like that.
There's
I think
a
I cooked.
there's a Bell and Sebastian lyric which is tenderly you tell about this. Is it the saddest book you ever read? It always makes you cry.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what you're talking about. It's like you'd think, why would you want to reread something which makes you cry? But sometimes it's just about unlocking those emotions, and you know something which will do it. I think for me with the TV show thing, it's a home comfort. It's a if I'm feeling anxious, or if I historically have been feeling in a low place, it's like this thing reminds me of a certain time or
Yeah.
Comfort.
Yeah.
Comfort. Like safety,
absolutely.
tranquility.
Exactly.
It's like and part of that is the familiarity. I know
Totally.
there's not going to be anything unexpected.
Exactly.
I know where this is going.
At
I've
least I know
seen
where I
this-
stand with this.
Yeah, I've seen this 100 times, and I know that Michael is going to be mental here, and Jim is going to get with Pam. I'm not going to be surprised. But imagine then you get Mandela effect.
I was just about to say.
and then Jim never gets with Pam. You're like, what?
Pam and Dwight?
Yeah, you're just like, what the
Yeah.
fuck is happening here? And you start bugging out.
Yeah, that's so mental. And
Have you seen The Office?
not properly.
You would love it, bro.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think so.
I just, do you know what it is? I think I have a problem with committing to like watching a show, because I'm a all or nothing kind of guy. It's like, okay, if I'm
You
gonna
watch all of it?
If I'm gonna watch a show, it's like cool. Now I'm gonna watch
When
everything.
you watch Breaking Bad, right?
Yeah, after
you-
however many
you
fucking
watched Breaking
years.
Bad, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I've just started Breaking Bad," and then like over the weekend on like a Monday, it's like, "How's Breaking Bad going?" He's like, "Cannot believe he died." I'm like, "You finished the whole thing, bro.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?" It's like
I've seen Breaking Bad like 6 times.
Yeah, it's unreal. But like, he went from never watching it, and it was like 10 years too late, and people would be making jokes about like Heisenberg and like Jesse, and he's like, "We need to cook," and he's like, "I don't know what you're referring to."
What are they? Are they chefs?
Yeah,
Like,
whoa, MasterChef.
What's the deal here? Somebody cooked here.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Literally. Okay, sick. And that's why historically I've always been like a films guy, because I'm like, I can commit to up to 2 hours. That's cool. And it'll be done. And I would know what happened, and it's like great. Like that's an amount of commitment that I can actually get behind. But then with the TV shows, it's like fuck, man. Especially if it's like a classic. Like I'll never watch Game of Thrones because I don't know how It's like however many seasons, it's bare long, and I know that it's a shit ending, so I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking bother.
It's
Yeah.
still worth it. Also,
I've never watched it either.
Part of what made it so good, and this has like been ruined by streaming culture, is it would be an episode every week, and it would be like the talk.
Yeah.
It would be the cultural moment. Like the episode comes out, and then
Yeah.
for the next week, everybody's going
Exactly.
mad talking about like, did you see the latest episode? Oh my god, I can't believe this happened. And it's like everybody experiencing the same thing at the same time. The collective consciousness.
That's it.
It's all happening to everybody, and then that's why it feels like it has such a big cultural impact.
I remember around that time there was a video which came out of someone just filming a New York City building, and there were like 100 windows which were all obviously watching the exact same thing. Like
'Cause
the
of the
light
flashing of the
changes
lights.
at
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
perfect time,
Mental.
and it was Game of Thrones.
Yeah. And it was like the whole thing with the red wedding. Oh my god, I can't believe you guys have neither of you have seen it.
It's just too overwhelming, bro. It's
we
just too
should-
much
too-
to
too
get
much
through.
to do.
We
yeah.
should. I've seen so many videos.
By the way, if I like break my leg,
Yeah, and you
that
can't do
I'll be
anything.
like, cool.
I'm watching.
Give
Game of
me
Thrones.
all the fucking. I'll watch The Sopranos. I'll watch The Wire.
Sopranos is
Like,
unbelievable.
I'll
The
watch
Wire
all
is
of this shit.
unbelievable. Oh my god.
Sopranos is the best.
Yeah, but I think it's
Sopranos
the best
is
show I've
number
ever
one.
seen. But like, I've seen so many videos of like my husband's first reaction to this scene in Game of Thrones, and it's like that the whole page is just this, and it's like
It's going
people
off.
want to see somebody else experience it. It's like when you're showing your friend a song, and you're like staring at them like, is he gonna rate it? Is he gonna bob his head? And it's like he turns to you, he's like, it's all right.
Maybe I should
Fuck
watch
you.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's really good, man. If you guys start watching Game of Thrones, watch it together. I will be there. Just
Bruv,
like, it'll
I'm
be
definitely
impossible.
not gonna. There's one thing us both committing to it, but we'll never watch it if we were committing to watching it together.
All right, great. August the 2nd.
Yeah, you're about.
We're gonna
We're
watch,
gonna watch
episode
10
2, please.
episodes.
Yeah, we just lock in for the day and finish one
Just
season.
like,
Yeah,
That's so good.
jokes. The thing about music as well, that nostalgia element. Yeah, Mayfly, you were talking about how you watch a certain show because it like puts you in a particular mood, or like you know how it's gonna make you feel. I think that's why we'll always like songs that we heard between the age of like 12 and 20. Like though, however old we are, I think that era of our lives is going to be like, yeah, this music is our favorite music. And it's kind of like even with the stuff that we make, it's like, I want to make stuff that sounds like this era of my life. And I think
Yeah.
most people probably connect with that. It's like people of a younger generation to us listen to shit and they fucking love that shit. And I really, really can't connect with it. And objectively, it must be good because loads of people like it.
but it
just
is the collective again.
yeah, it just doesn't hit for me.
Interesting. Yeah.
Should we look at our teachers?
Yeah. So
Mayfly's still winning, right?
I'm still winning. Yeah,
just
but
get back
I
on.
feel like we should change it because I know how to win on this one because
Where
his
did-
creativity is definitely going to be the best.
Where did their card go?
Mr. Bridges, you put it in the mix in the top. It was like in the top 10 from the other side. Yeah. No, from
All
the
right, I'm gonna
from
go.
the bottom.
I'm gonna go for a risky one because I know that one of them's gonna win. I'm gonna give a little bit more of a chance.
Switch it up.
Yeah. Style 58.
Ah, 53.
32, and they have 79.
Who is it?
Mr. Bridges.
Oh.
Mr.
Okay.
Bridges got a big style, did he?
Big
All right,
style.
There you go.
Big style.
Bye-bye, guys.
Big
Thank you
style.
very much.
So
Big
what does
style.
that mean? So they get to pick next time.
Yeah, they start.
They start.
Amazing. Look at you. 3 mics.